So, hi guys, welcome to Bunny's Designs. Welcome to Bunny's Designs. This is a live impromptu Sunday stream. Wanted to show my small art haul that I got yesterday. Got some quite nice things. Had a lovely day in Manchester with my daughter. There was an art zine kind of event going on. And I got quite a few things, actually. I've got two large sketchbooks, which are actually in the other room, so I'll have to get those in a second. Went to, in Manchester, there's quite an old established 18-something or other. Sorry, Alfie's in the room, called Fred Olsen. I think that's how you pronounce it. And it is downstairs, which is a bit of a struggle, but my daughter carried the wheelchair down, so wanted to get down there. And they also have a paper section. Now, unfortunately, I got down there and my daughter said that she was so hungry that we had to leave, but I wanted to go through all the papers, so I might bob again next week because it's not far from the train station. Sorry about that, guys. Right. So there's Fred Olsen and the Cass Art that they have in Manchester at the minute. Oh, hi, Stargazer. Welcome to Bunny's Designs. Hope everybody's okay. Hope you're having a good morning. It's about lunchtime in the UK, I think. So I bought different things for different reasons. I've had a look beforehand of things that I might buy. When I got there, I thought, shall I, shan't I? And I did buy one or two other bits and pieces. And so I thought, well, okay, I bought those. So really, budget-wise, I couldn't do the others. I am in my room. Yay! I put some curtaining above, up there. So it's not as not in direct sunlight. So this room is quite warm, but it will keep the sun from the desk. So I could be sat in 100 degrees, but at least the light will be consistent. So, oh, and now we have the fan. So I hope the microphone doesn't pick the fan up too much. So Nigel, could you bring me that? It's the big Cass Art bag. Yes, I'm looking for that. It will be down there somewhere. Alfie's in the room. Alfie's a lot better with Betsy and Bungle now. He's kind of settled down a bit. I did go for these. This is the Filbert and it's the Midas Touch. And I went for all three. And I think there's about 7 of these different ones. And somebody got them and pushed the tops on and they were all damaged. This is the only one that wasn't damaged. I think they're about £12. But I've been wanting them for a while, but I again didn't want to buy them because I wanted to make sure that nobody kind of rammed the things on. So you've got to be a bit careful, and they need to be damp, just barely damp when you put the lid on. But that's to go in my pencil case for traveling. So they were £12, I think, £11.99, something like that. Yes, I'm back in the studio. So I'll take a photograph in a second when I find my phone. A very good friend of mine gave me some material a long time ago. So it kind of really probably 80s style, but there were yards and yards and yards and yards of it. And I've got it held up with bricks. So it's very basic, but it was for nothing. We found the bricks down the garden. Thank you, Dan. We found the bricks down the garden. And my friend gave me this material quite a few years ago. So Fred Olsen, that was Cass Art. So Fred Olsen, I did find these colour shapers, and there were, I think, about can't remember how much they were. A bit expensive, but I liked my grey one. That's about this, and the black ones, these are color shapers, and I got a smaller one. So I saw them, they're called clay shapers. The black ones are extra firm, and they use them for modeling and clay and things, but I actually use them for blending my pastels, because remember, when we're blending in a color book, we have to grind the color in because we don't have the tooth of pastel paper. So if you want to use your pastels in your color book pages, these are quite good for doing that with. So there's 2 color shapers. I did have a look at a new pen there, but I was really good and I didn't buy it, even though it was quite interesting, because I do love my Isograph rotring pens. The other thing, these are what I bought at a different at Cass Art. So we'll do Fred Olsen first. Now, one thing I did find was this create a color wheel. And I thought, woohoo. So they have the normal one. There's the little wheel here. And I can't find my normal one. But this one is for beginners and professionals, artists, illustrators, students, designers, illustrators, and painters. And basically what it is, it's a complete color wheel to fill in yourself. And I just couldn't resist it, because I thought, well, when I go through all my colors, I'm always confusing everybody. This way, it's probably going to take quite a while, but I think as a series we could color this in. Now it does tell you the colors to use, and I don't really like those colors, but it says I was going to use gouache because it's a flat color, and they say acrylic. So I'm going to photocopy this on card, and I'm going to do 2. I'm going to do one in acrylics and one in gouache, and I'm going to use one of their colors which they recommend, and one that I recommend, my favorite colors, my cerulean blue, French ultramarine, lemon yellow, cadmium red, and alizarin crimson. Now they give different colors, so I think it would be quite interesting to do what they suggest in acrylics and what I suggest. Now it was £8, which was a bit of a pricey thing, because considering I don't need it, but I just thought this would be wonderful for everybody out there to have a very good understanding of how to mix the colors and how to make a color wheel. So I thought that was a really good idea. So even though it was a bit expensive, my daughter was kind of going, well, you know about colors. I just thought this would be wonderful for all you guys. So we'll go through this, and it tells you which wheel to color which. So we are going to be mixing with 3 colors, 3 primaries. We are going to be mixing a color wheel. We're also going to be mixing tints, tones, and shades. Tints is adding white, tones is adding grey, and shade is adding black. And we also will be doing the different grades of the grey tones as well. And it also talks about colour, hue, which is colour, value, which is the grayscale or the light to dark scale. Intensity means is it a bright pink or is it a soft, like a pastel? Pure color, pigments. Tints is the color plus white. Tone is the color plus gray, and shade is the color plus black. But that is very interesting, and we'll come to this a bit later. Oh, hi, Sandra. Welcome to Bunny's Designs. Anybody else popping in? I thought I'd bob on because, oh, bear with me 2 seconds. I must do something. I'm in back in my studio, so I'm all a dither because I've only been here 30 seconds. I just have to take this off because it will be jumping if I don't. That should be better. And I could pan out a little bit. There we are. So we're back on the desk. Whee! I've only got this space though, but it's slightly better. So I couldn't resist this create a colour wheel, because once you whiff at this, there's going to be no confusion. We're going to get colour, tone, shade, putting colours together, getting the colours to go next to each other, and all that colour, good colour, colour guide and colour mixing. Once we've coloured this in, then this is going to be very simple. And what I might do is on Thursday, or maybe I could do that tomorrow, we'll see, is how to make a colour, just a colour guide. So we could have the colour wheels. Because I don't think we can download this, but what we can do is something very similar. So you could do it with me during the live show. But I'm definitely going to be playing with this, because I thought that would be very good. But be careful not to lose this little wheel, because it will turn just like a normal colour wheel when you finish with it. It's only on like thin card that I thought once we've done that, we'll know everything there is to know about colouring for art and for putting colours together in our colour books. Now, the other thing that I bought, I knew it'd be quite expensive, but I wanted one, and they didn't have the bigger one, because by the time my daughter had been pushing me around Manchester, which was about 40 degrees yesterday in Manchester, it was very, very hot. And we were a bit conscious that we're from country bumpkins. And of course, every pub in Manchester had the football on. So all of a sudden, the whole city went in uproar. So we were a bit conscious about that as well. Not that we're wimps. This is the Moleskine, or Moleskine, but it's the watercolour one. So it's got some quite nice thick pages. And so I thought this was going to be perfect for to take with me to do my watercolours. So that will be travelling with my my Series 7, and also my Winsor & Newton watercolour markers. So there was one or two, I think that's all I got from there. I thought I got one or two other bits, but I can't find them. So on to Cassart. So Cassart has this Rhodia paper, and I really love this one. And this is my favourite size, because as a tight Yorkshire lass, I love my, oh gosh, it's got a bit bashed. This is my Midori. Now, it was second hand, but it was in a lot better condition than this. But I love it. And I love my squares for my bullet journaling. So I do a very simple bullet journal. And I do have a cheap squared paper that you buy for refill for a file. But this is softer, thinner, and it's got a blue tint. Oh, it's a bit, you can just maybe see that. So if you fold this way and then fold it again, you get it's Midori size. You see, this one has got the holes in it, and it's black, and it has the holes in it because it's for a file, and they're only about £1 or £2. But this one is, oops, this was £6.59. But it's really nice paper, and you can actually draw and paint on this if you use it thinly. And it's one of my favorites. And again, because I don't have the hole in it, I can just fold it over and cut it. And it gives me my perfect Midori size. And these, there's probably that many, not even that many if you double it, in a Midori thing. And they're £10. So I've got all this paper that can be put into my Midori, and I absolutely love it. And I find that I write slightly neater when I've got a squared paper. So that was one of my Cassart finds. I also had a look at I have 3 half riggers, and I really like it. So I thought, okay, let's buy 3 paintbrushes. And again, I think these were a couple of pounds each. So I've got Series 64 of the Pro Art Masterstroke, and these are synthetic, but they're half riggers. So I have a 4, a 2, and a 2-0. And I thought, yeah, I kind of like these. So that's my set of 3. And that's for some quite fine work. I also found this beauty, which is a Jumbo 9000 Faber-Castell 8B. And I found the set, and it was £10 for the set. And I thought, may not use it, but couldn't resist this beautiful 8B for my grayscale. So that had to find its way. I think it was £2, that one. And then finally, this was a little bit of an indulgence, but actually I can write quite nice with it. And they're £10 because it's a watercolor one. I also found a 4 size, which is sorry, A3 size, beg your pardon. And it doesn't give me the thing. This is Bristol paper from Cassart, £10.95, but it's the bigger one. It's Bristol paper, and there's 20 sheets, and it's 190 GSM. And I thought it was nice and smooth. Again, to do some drawings with some watercolor, because it says ideal for drawing and illustration, suitable for fine liner pens, marker pens, ink, and pencil. So because it had 20 pages, I need to do 20 pages if I want to take a portfolio to a publisher's house for my color book. So I needed a nice sheet for that. And also a find. Oops, sorry guys. Oops. I think this was Cassart again. This is a drawing gum. It's a pen, it's a marker, and it's a 0.7, I think. Yeah, it's a 0.7 millimeter, but it's got masking fluid in it. And I thought that would be perfect for my mushrooms. And it has a spare nib. I don't know if you can refill it. I'm hoping you can. I think it says a replacement nib. So if you can replace the nib, in theory, you can put, it's a 0.7. So that would be quite good for the watercolors. And then last but not least, I have this huge, and my daughter wasn't impressed with that, but I managed to carry it. I only tripped one person up with it. £14.95, but it's quite big. And this is light, sorry, this is heavyweight cartridge paper, but it's huge. It's A2 size. And again, I want to work, now I'm in my studio, I want to work big with my mushrooms. So, and the exciting news is my daughter wants to do some oil paints with me. So I'll be working on a huge, I think it's 4 foot by 4 foot, or maybe 5 foot by 5 foot. Yeah, I think it's 5x5 canvas in oils of a mushroom scene, mushrooms and strawberries and hedgerows. Now, my last find, I've been looking for colour for books to alter. So she took me into a charity shop and I found this. Now, you all know I've been looking for an art bag, and I love the Escher ones. Is the Escher ones the really expensive ones? But there's no way I can justify that. And as we walked through the door, because she drags me in backwards over steps, and it was a rough ride, bless her, she couldn't help it. But Manchester cobbles, we went round the back streets to take photographs of derelict buildings. But of course, the cobbles, the stones, it was a rough ride in a wheelchair. Bless her socks, she had a workout yesterday. And as she's pushing me back in, I see this bag, and it's absolutely immaculate. And I like the fact it had an easy clasp, because normally I can't do clasps, but I can actually do this one. And as I say, it had a label on it, so it was new. And it's, I put my erasers in there. So it has a zip at the back, but it has quite a big, what I call a gusset, a bottom. So it's quite deep. So I can get in here my markers, my watercolor markers, my pencil case. I can get my sketchbook, my watercolor book, and I can get my watercolor brushes, and I can get it all in here. There's a zip on the outside. I think it's like a laptop bag, and then it has a pocket at the front here, and it has 2 pockets on the side. But it's the fact, and I can also get my iPad in it as well. So I thought that was going to be perfect, and it can go over the back of the wheelchair if it has to, and it's just going to fit everything in that I want. I think I can even get one of the bigger pencil ones if I want to, but it meant that I can use it for Bible journaling, to take the Bible work stuff and all those. I can take my watercolors with me if I want to watercolor, and I can just take out the sketchbooks and put color books in when I want to use it for color books. So it kind of fitted everything, and my daughter was looking at me as if I was a complete lunatic. And then I showed her the one that I really wanted for £170, and she said, "Mother, £10 was a bargain." So £10 is a bit expensive, but as I say, it's absolutely immaculate, and it fits what I want it to do. And it's a canvas. It actually looks very nice. It's very well made, and it looks like it could be especially made for an art bag. And it also has, it's called a Star Dragon, which I'd not heard of before, because it's got a dragon on it. So it just kind of hit all the spots I wanted it to. Let me just test to see if everybody's okay. So I hope you're all well. So that was my art bag, and as I say, I can get quite a lot in it. I have to be a bit careful with this wrist because it's still funny. But it is quite a big bag, and this should have gone now, but it's bungles, and at night time I must scratch it, so otherwise it should have gone. But as you can see, I can get, it's very awkward because my hands don't work. I can get the marker, so that's got all my watercolor markers in it. It's got my watercolor brushes in it, and I have had this in, so I did have my other sketchbook in as well. So I've got I don't actually need that with me. I wouldn't take that normally with me, but I would take my watercolor Moleskine. I don't know, I've got myself in a pickle. Oh, I don't know what this is. Oh, that's that one. I wonder what that was. See, I will probably take that off. I would take that off if I can just push it. And that one. I love the fact that these are pushy ones. Unfortunately, my wrists are really bad at the minute. So I've got my watercolor markers, I've got my sketchbook, and I can still fit in here. My 10.5 inch it's not a laptop, what's that called? iPad. And it doesn't matter about the weight anymore, and then I can fit my pencil case in here, my Apple Pencil, and I've still got quite a bit of room in there as well, so I can get my phone in there if I need to. Probably put my phone in. There's a pocket here, Velcro pocket, but at the other side, and again, because I don't have to worry about weight, I mean, it's not too bad, and I can put my phone down the back there as well. So actually, and a little purse. So that's me actually fixed to go out and do some colouring. And I love the fact that I spent £10 instead of over 100. And I love it. It's quite tactile. It feels very strong. And I love this really fast metal clasp, which I can open. which is more very unusual for me. So that actually fitted the bill. And the other thing is, because it does have a zip at the top here as well, so kind of everything is insecure, and I haven't overstuffed it. And it's the first time I've tried everything in it. So, so I could take this out and I could put a couple of sketchbooks in here. Sorry, not sketchbooks, colouring books. So with just taking one thing out, I've changed it so that I can use my watercolours in here. And again, it's become an art bag for me. So I was quite impressed with that, I have to say. Oh, if I can find my zip. So I take my iPad out first. It's bound to get knocked. And have that on, take my iPad thing out. And I think that's empty. Yes. So that was my find from the charity shop near the train station, because we got back early. I don't know if this one will go in here, but I much prefer to have, I don't have the water brushes in here. You see on the side here, I popped in a little bar of soap and some stickies. So have you got any questions, guys? So they want to go away. That pencil can go in there. I don't know if the Moleskine will just go in. No, it just won't go in. But it doesn't matter, because I use this system with everything, not just sketchbooks. So when I'm altering books, colour books, and doing backgrounds and things, and I did put my little colours in here. So I do have one master stroke in there, and I have found another one of these as well. So I can put some more pencil case, more paintbrushes away. I almost bought, it's about twice as wide as that. Actually, it's about this size. And it would hold all the paintbrushes that I wanted. So I think I may be tempted to buy that. And it did have some acrylic. It was from Cassart. They were £19. But as I say, I don't like to go too mad. And I hadn't been to the other shops at that point. So I'm going to really enjoy writing with that. I wrote a bit with that. This is going to be interesting, this little pen. So I'll use this one. I'll use this one on my mushrooms, because I need those tiny little spots. So that should be good. Oh, thank you. Oh, you like the Graph Gear pencil? Yes, beautiful. Bit expensive though. But having said that, you know, it's going to last me that probably. Is that the one you can change the HB if you wanted? You can change it to HB. I just got HB, that one. I have this one, and I did find a slightly thicker one as well. I found a 3.5mm one, but again, you'd have to buy another pencil. And it depends on what happens with the pencils. At the minute, the wrists are a bit bad. I think that's because, oops, I dropped something. I think that's because I fell. I tripped. Oh, Alfie's behind me. I think that's because I fell. So I'm hoping the light's going to be okay. I do have the laptop here, so it's kind of taking a bit of the light away, but at least I can see chat now. I can see chat, but it's just perched on the side there, quite precariously, actually. I have to be a bit careful. And then I met hubby so my daughter then stayed in Manchester, and she put me on the train. And it was ever so good. And she put me on the train. It was direct, so that was good. So I can't wait to play with this. It's a bit big, this one. There's a filbert around, and a flat. So the filbert is the curved one. The round one is curved all the way around, and the flat one is like that, but like a wedge straight across. Oh, hi, AC. Welcome to Bunny's Designs. Anybody else popping in? I just thought I'd bob on and go through my haul. But as I say, sometimes if you don't drop them on the floor and you don't use really poisonous stuff, watercolors normally aren't poisonous, you can just do that and lick it into shape. If you're a bit squirmish, you can dunk it into water and just very carefully tease the water. You don't want it too wet. You don't want to put it away wet because it'll go moldy. It just wants to sit. And once it's in its perfect shape, I mean, you could even leave it out to dry. So it dries perfect, because the ones I saw at Casa, they drowned them and they're all squashed and broken, and you know it was going to take quite a while. And when I put mine in, I twist it carefully. So if there is one and I twist, it might be released. But I do like these pens, and I'm thinking about getting a set of those, especially for traveling as well. Because if I was traveling, I may not take these with me, because this is kind of a finished artwork. When you're away, you don't normally get that finish. So, of course, we've got the Elf Master here, who's our mascot for when we move. And I did find something else. I've wanted a water dish for a while, a water bottle. And I've bought so many, but I've got really silly thumbs at the minute. And I don't envisage them getting any better. So I went to Sainsbury's because hubby picked me up and then we had to go shopping, and I found these, and they were £6. Now online they're a lot more, and mine says Dreamer, Wish and Believe, and I bought one in green for my daughter, which is Every Day I Shine. So cheers. Because every time I put a jug of water in, one cat or the other decides to either knock it over, or they either want to knock it over or they want to drink out of it. So I end up drinking after a cat, which I'm a bit squeamish that way. I do love my animals, but not that much. I have been stroking Gigi all afternoon, and she's panting, so I'm not sure if that's because of the heat. So it's not looking good for our baby. She's probably nearly 90. She's probably nearly 90 in years, so you know she's done well. And it's the big C, so we may have to think. But my daughter's at work at the minute, and it's her baby. So. Has anybody got any questions? Oh, hi, Darla. Welcome to Bunny's Designs. Hi, Elizabeth E. Anybody else popping in? It was a bit of an impromptu, was that? So actually, what I did is, because I was talking the other day about using my little book of watercolors when we're stressed, I thought, well, I can't mess about. She was really poorly. I actually thought she was going to croak it. So I thought I'll sit and play with her ears, because she always likes her ears played with. So I was playing with her ears, and I was colouring a book using this little book. And I was doing what I did with hubby. So one-handed, I was colouring. And so I was doing something, but I was giving Piggles comfort by stroking her ears. And again, even though I know she was dying, and it keeps you that little bit calmer. So I do like working with my little book. And I did tell a lady yesterday, and she gasped when I said we were going to get, through the colours, I want to get 10,000 squares. No, 1,000 squares, sorry. I want to get 1,000 squares, and I managed 600 and some in the other one. So I've got halfway there, well, more than half. So I want to get 1,000 squares of Derwent colours from a water product, a water-based medium. And each square has 10 shades. So a little book like this could hold 10,000 colours. And that's nothing to do with mixing them. That's just with a colour. Touch a colour, colour with it, 10,000. And I'm sure Derwent can do that. And it would be a little Derwent book. So I think I might actually be a bit braver and get in touch with them, because I think they would like that. So it is a handy little book, this. I haven't managed, because my hands are poorly, I haven't managed to fill this one in because, like I say, unfortunately, my daughter put a broom across the room outside the back door. Sorry, just inside the door. And I went into one room and remembered it was there and stepped over it. And then a few minutes later came out and forgot it was there. So I kind of fell into the gates. We have some dog gates to keep Alfie from escaping. Talking of which, I think he's been a good boy. He's been a good boy. We can't hear him, and he's in my room. So he's a bit better with Betsy and Bungle. So again, that's another good thing. So things are getting a little bit better around here. Of course, sad if Piggles goes. So back to this colour wheel. I think I'm going to photocopy. I think I'm going to photocopy it. Now, it is 12 by 12, but I think the actual circle, and of course I have all my wonderful rulers next to me, and I picked that one, it's the wrong one, it will be, I think, it is 6. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's 8.5. 8.5, so it will go on an A. It will photocopy. So I'm going to photocopy this. I actually could do it on Bristol card, couldn't I? As it was a bit expensive, but when I saw it, I thought this is going to just make every colour, and even some of them that I'd forgotten as well, because sometimes I'm opening my mouth and saying the wrong thing, so that's a bit kind of scary. So I thought if I followed the instructions on here. So on Thursday, I think we'll do this colour. It'll be colour on Thursday. So we've got wheel 1 and we've got wheel 2, and then you reverse that and put wheel 3 and wheel 4. And you end up with a traditional color wheel that you can buy. And again, but the best thing about it is you're making new colors. So we're not going to color it with all our colors. So if we look at there's an orange, red, and a red, and then we have an orange. So we've got red, yellow, and blue. And what it tells you to do is you color the red, the yellow, the blue, black, and white here. Now it does tell you, actually, I might make another quick video after this one of what products to have, so we could do a color to get a color along. Do you think that'd be a good idea to do a color along on Thursday? So as I'm doing it, everybody else could do it as well. Have time, perhaps. Now they give it, and it does say you can choose your own, but on this page, so basically it says, oh, that's how to finish it. But it also talks about harmony colors, monochromatic, analogues, complementary, split complementary, triads, and tetrads. So we can go through all that, and then when we finish that, we know quite a bit about color. And these are not set in stone, but what does it tell us about the colors? Bear with me a second. And that's page. This is page 1. So it says, create a color wheel. Discover the secrets of color. The color wheel is the easiest way to understand color mixing and color harmony. By mixing your own color wheel, you will more quickly learn how to mix colors and how to attain color harmony in your paintings and other creative projects. So they tell us that. And I'm going to do one in these colors with acrylics, but I also want to use my gouache because gouache lies flat. It dries flat. So I'm going to use gouache, but I'm going to do it in my colours, slightly different, and we'll see what the difference is. So I'm going to have 2 colour wheels. I'm going to have the traditional one, and I'm going to have mine. Because I think, you see, they give their colours. It says, the following tubes of paint may be used for this wheel. We recommend acrylics. The name of the colours and pigments might vary slightly with brand. So you've got Winsor Newton, and you've got Daler Rowney, and then there's the American companies as well. It says, check with your instructor for additional guidance. These are only suggestions. So they give cadmium red medium, cadmium yellow, and cobalt blue, titanium white, and ivory black. Now there's 2 titanium whites. Now titanium white, as I remember it, is not a mixing white, because flake white is mixing white, I think, unless I've got the wrong way around. I'll double check that, because, oops, I've got a bug. I've got a bug. But I don't want to use those colours. I want to use what comes out of a printer, because it says when you're talking about reds, they don't want an orange red and they don't want a pink red. And they tell you how to colour here. It says the red, yellow and blue are basic colours that cannot be made by mixing any other. Well, I can make cadmium red. I cannot make alizarin crimson. I cannot make lemon yellow, but I can make cadmium yellow, because you can make it warmer by adding red. So actually, I think I want to use cerulean blue and cyan blue. You can't make those colours, but you can make a purple blue. So I don't know. I think, and my cobalt blue I can make. So I'm going to do it their way first, because I want to see just how good that purple is. Because I don't think with a cadmium red and a cobalt blue, you are going to get a decent purple. You need alizarin crimson. But that's just my opinion. So what I'm going to do is I'll do the first bit with their colours in acrylics, and then I'm with my colours in gouache. And then you can have a look and decide which colour wheel you like best. Because as I say, I think the best purples, you don't make purple with cadmium red. So I think we'll struggle with that. We'll have a dull purple. But again, that's just me personally. That's how I work. And when I've used my colours, I got 600 and some. So we'll see just how it works. Now, but I am tempted to split this one and have alizarin crimson and cadmium red. It's just when we get to smaller spaces, will I have enough? I'll photocopy one and have a play before Thursday. But that's what it tells you that you need to use. But I don't want to do that. I want to use gouache because it dries flat. And I want to use, so I don't want to use primary red. That was in the colours. Have I not got the colours that I want? I've got primary yellow. That would have to do. I've got primary blue. Oh, well. And I've got primary red. Yes, zinc white here. Zinc white is a mixing white. Flake white is pure white. But I thought that the one they used was a mixing white. And they've got ivory black. So there is a zinc white. That's cerulean blue. And it's paler, you see. And I haven't got an alizarin crimson. There's a spectrum red. Wait a minute, what's that one? That's a primary red, which looks a bit pinky. I'm still tempted to use cerulean blue. But that's the colours that they would use. I'm not going to use professional watercolours. And that was this primary. Permanent yellow deep. You see, that's equivalent to. So that would be flame red would be an orange red. Ultramarine's the pink blue spectrum. Right, that's what we have. So this says permanent white. But I think flake white in oil paints. I think that's right. Has anybody got any questions? So in the gouache, that's what they give us. But I'm not a happy girl. In fact, I might actually use these. This is a set that I bought quite a while ago. And you'll have to forgive me. I've just dumped lots of things in here. These are the colours that I like to use. And I think I've decided I'm going to use these colours. And I'm not going to do 2 colour wheels. I'll do one. I think I've got 2 blues, 2 reds and 2 yellows. There we go. It's supposed to be for pens, is that? Oops. Although sometimes my daughters come in and ruin. So that's what really they say you should have. But the reason I want to do that is when you look at my colour wheels, so a cadmium yellow is going to make a better orange. And a lemon yellow is going to make a better green. Cadmium red is going to make a better orange. Elysian crimson is going to make a better purple. Cerulean blue makes a better green. And ultramarine. So I am actually going to use, I'm going to split just these two and use that one to go that way and that one to go that way. Because if I mix these two together, we're going to get a dull green. We want a bright green. That is quite a light. Let's have a look. Oh, yeah, there's not much in it, actually. Let me just have a look. So that one is definitely the paler because it says primary. So again, let's look at this one. Uh-oh, tops. I told my dentist I do that. So if we look at this one, though. One of these days they're going to squirt. So that's, but actually it's probably in the middle. Yeah. So actually I can live with that. I can live with that one. So if you can see, that's the one I would use. That's the one I wouldn't use, and that's in the middle. So it's nearer that one than that one because that's cadmium yellow. So I actually, yeah, I will live with that one. And the last one to test. These are the colours that I mixed. And I think these are actually the original ones. So you see how much I've used? I made 600 colours with these. So let's have a look at this one. So this one is primary red. Yeah, and it's a pinky red. So actually we're okay. It's not quite Elysian crimson, but it's so as long as it's going this way, we're fine. So yeah, actually that will be fine. And then we have zinc white. So yes, I'm going to be happy with that. I can do that, but I'm going to do it in gouache. I think I'll do that in gouache. I just need to hide my watercolors again because it gets a bit warm in this room. Although although they do say acrylics. So let me have a look and see where my acrylic box is. So I shall do one in gouache because it sits flat. I like gouache. Let me put the colour wheel away. Can't be careful with that because I don't want to lose the little wheel. So we'll do that on Thursday. So we need a primary red, a primary blue, and a primary yellow. And that means not cadmiums because they're slightly different. I've got oil acrylics in here. I opened the acrylic box and there's nothing in it. So let's have a look. Let's very quickly have a look and see what we can do it in. So we've got Elysian Crimson, a deep red rose. So we don't want a pink. We could start with a pink, but I don't think cobalt blue really is cool enough. I'm going to have a cooler blue, and I think that's where I struggled here, wasn't it? It's an ultramarine. I'd like it paler than if I could. So this is my gouache. This is my really old gouache. Actually, I thought I'd given this to my daughter. So let's have a look what we've got. We've got primary blue, primary yellow, primary red, zinc white, and black. Oops, I think that's gone. Permanent deep. So you see, that's the yellow one. That's the lemon yellow. But primary yellow would be good. So I've got these three. Let me have a look. Oh, they need using to these. I may not get any out of them. Yeah, quite old are these. Because remember, we've got quite a lot of mixing to do because we're going to be mixing every colour from these three. I don't think I've got enough red there, so I'm going to use those. Let's see if we can find the best. Oh, I'll be looking for those. I've lost all sorts of things in this studio. Oh, guys, sorry about this. So I made this little, oopsie. I haven't got the camera right yet. I made this little pouch. I'm just wondering where they are for my little nibs. Oh, and they're all there. So that's a little job to do while I'm watching TV tonight, is to put the little nibs into there. Then I can have the pill box back because I have 3 pill boxes. Sorry, guys. Oh, wires everywhere. That's a bit better. Actually, tell a fib. That's the ones that I've used. They were the ones I used. Wasn't that one because it was a new one. I love a lot burnt umber. I do an awful lot of sepia work and browns, painting in a monochrome, and I kind of like that. So I think these ought to be put away with the others. Now these are different. If your gouache goes dry, I don't know if you can reconstitute it. I think you can actually. But if your watercolor goes rock hard, it's fine because all you've done is turned it into a pan. So what you need to do is to get the metal off and a little container and put it in, and then you can use it as you would. It obviously is not in a lovely square, but you can use it. So never throw your watercolors away. If they go dry, you just, now oils and acrylics, you just have to throw them away. But watercolor, you can use them as a pan because they've dried. This was in a little set of watercolor things. Oh, there's the red. So again, my obsession with those three colors. So they're the tubes that I made 630 colors from: cerulean blue, lemon yellow, and Elysian crimson. But I do say that if you have cadmium yellow, cadmium red, and French ultramarine, life is a bit easier. So I wonder what reds we've got here. That's a deep cadmium red. We don't want a cadmium red. We want a bit of a pinkier one, but we don't want Elysian crimson because they've not used Elysian crimson. But a primary red is a little bit pinkier than it is red. Because, as I say, we can make a cadmium red. So I won't be using, I don't think I'm going to be using these. I can't find them in those either. I was trying to find them in every colour for everybody. So there'll be 2 seconds. Let me see if I can find my this is a set that I've never used. Now this is oils. And I think I'm going to do an oil painting. My daughter wants to do oil painting next over the summer. I haven't got much left of summer. So I bought this as a vintage set. It's brand new, but it's vintage. I never checked actually to see if they're all right. So let's have a look and see what we've got. We've got vermilion, Elysian crimson, cerulean blue, cobalt blue, French ultramarine, Prussian blue. That's titanium white, zinc white. So I think titanium white is your white and your flake white. I think that's the one that's more expensive. Your zinc white is your mixing white. Sometimes it's called mixing. Now, flake white, I think also is a very expensive white. That's why somebody's used this one and not that one, because they've not, that's for pure white highlights. One is for mixing. So they've used that one. Does that, hope that makes sense? So you see, if I put this in colour order, we've got our lemon yellow. Oops, lemon yellow. Cadmium yellow. We've got cadmium red somewhere. I haven't. Oh, we've got cobalt violet there. No cadmium red. No, we don't have. We should have a cadmium red. Just read cadmium red, but I haven't got it. Okay, then we've got vermilion. So vermilion is an orange red. We've got Elysian crimson. Then we've got cobalt violet. And then French ultramarine is a purple blue. And then we've got cobalt blue. And then we've got Prussian blue. And then we've got a pale blue. And then we've got emerald green, sap green, viridian. Ivory black. We've got zinc white, titanium white, zinc white. Zinc white is your mixing white then. It's titanium white's your expensive. I'm pretty sure that's right. And then we've got Venetian red and sienna. I'm going to put yellow ochre and raw sienna together. And it goes something like that, I think. Let's just about knocked one out. I don't know. Should tell you about. Well, this tells you what colours to use, so that's quite interesting. Also, just bear with me 2 seconds, guys. I've forgotten something. Oh, sorry about that, guys. Oh, hi, Modern. Welcome. Anybody else stopping by? Hope you're all okay. So this one tells you about mixing colours. I wonder if it tells you about mixing white. As I say, sometimes I forget about mix. But white has been excluded from the colour mix, though its modern use of colour. With oils in cases different. As a general rule, white is varying quantities add mixtures to oil pigments. But I want to tell you why there's 2 different whites, but it doesn't. So it says that landscapes, cool grey skies are cobalt and vermilion. Cool grey is cobalt blue and light red. Warm greys, darks, blues. Talks all about foliage, grass, tree trunks, distances. So actually, it's a really good little book, is this. It tells you what colours you can and can't use on there then. So that's quite good. Oh, we've got some charcoal in there as well. So I think I may give this to my daughter actually to use, because I've got my water-based oils. So again, my favourite colours. These are the colours I've used the most. So I'll be using these, I think. I did have some other oils somewhere, but I cannot remember where I put them. So you can make a vermilion. You can't make an alizarin crimson, but you can make a vermilion. And how you do that is you take alizarin crimson and you can take the warmest yellow to make an orange. And then you put orange with alizarin crimson, and that's in the middle. And you do this with the cadmium reds as well. So same with the purples, although my French ultramarine was difficult to find. So French ultramarine, you can't make cerulean blue, but you can make all the other blues by adding purples, warms to it. So if you took cobalt blue and blue, you'd end up with ultramarine. If you put more cerulean blue, you'd end up with cobalt blue. And if you put a touch of the other primary, the orange to make it darker, you get a Prussian blue. And if you made that even darker, you would get indigo. So that's the blues and the yellows. Yes, we've got right round to purples. If you didn't have purple, you'd use Elysian crimson and French ultramarine, but we've got purple. I hope that made sense. I hope that made sense. So that's what we'll do on thingy. But as I said, oops, now we've got a book on oil painting there as well. Look. So my daughter wants to do oil painting. What was there? Maybe there wasn't anything there. My daughter wants to do oil painting. So that I'm going to be doing it. She'll probably be using oils because she wants to learn about oils. And oops, I have to put that in there. Do I have to put that in there somehow? Oh, I can't shut it now. Oh, thank you, darling. Thank you. You can do this with Neocolor 2s if you want. It's my new set. It's my vintage set. I haven't been in this room for so long. It's very dusty in here, but got some more of these as well. So I don't know why I've had these out. I might have pushed them in there that I know where they are. So I think because I have a lot of those and they want using up, I'll be using those. I'm just going to put that in there because I just can't seem to. Find it. So I think this one has a cadmium in it as well. So we could use if you want a pinky one, Elysian crimson would be good. I stick with those because you can't make a pink. You can't make a red a pink. See, we've got that yellow and that yellow. We've got the French ultramarine, although it's a dark. And we've got a cooler blue, permanent blue. And then we've got the cadmium red, but we've only got a, they call that a rogue purple, and I don't like that one. But you can do it with the other colours if you want. You are going to use a lot of colour, and I don't really like doing that, but I suppose we have to learn, don't we? So I think I would get away with, because that primary red is pink, that primary blue is cool, and that primary yellow is also a bright. They're probably very near to cerulean blue, Elysian crimson, and lemon yellow. So I think we would get away with those actually. Oh, I'm in my new room. I don't know if I can show you. Let me see if I can show you. See if we can turn the camera. I don't know if you can see the ceiling. So I've draped it over the top to keep it cool. But as you can see, it's a mess. I don't know where Betsy is. But that's what we've done. But the guys are coming back to mend all that horrible plaster, so that would be good. But I've just put up temp this curtaining across half the room. So we're in the studio. Yay! Yeah, don't break out in a what's it, will you guys? think I'm upside down there. Bear with me a second. You're right. It should be better now. Lots of things done to the ceiling, so we thought we'll try this. If it works, we'll get some nice. What it is, it's my wild garden, but I've got everything piled up at the minute. I've got everything piled up because it was so warm in here. I just had to kind of dump everything in here, so nothing's sorted at all. My shades. The cat likes to jump on the lampshades. So hopefully when it's nice, there'll be some nice evenings in the sun. The pond needs refilling because it's a long time since I just showed the pond. Let's see if we can see outside. Let's see. I might be able to see outside, hopefully. So, move the lamp down. So all my colour books are in here. So they're quite near. If I get lame, I don't have to bother. And then we've got the pond down there. So it's all wild. It's a wild garden. There's just a few cobbles and stones, but it's very wild. It's very wild. And then of course I've got to rejiggle all the desk again now. But the nicest thing is if it keeps cool in this room, it means I can put my markers and I've got them out because I can't see anything. I forget I've got them. But I couldn't be in here. It was over 100 in here. It was so hot. And I think it's still going to be in the 90s, but that's fine. I can live with that. I've got arthritis. It was the light. But I think it was the sunshine when it got to here. It would just absolutely go. Yes, I think so. They said that they're not going to be coming for a while, but they will be here. So that's quite good. As long as I think they're doing it. I think it's because I accidentally ended up on the internet. I think that kind of, which you all wanted to see the room. And when I showed the room, I had to show all the bad bits. So, yeah. So have you got any questions about Thursday? So we could do the colour, this colour wheel. And probably the best thing to do is to have a practice with colours and then maybe get one of these and work through it because I'm not sure you'll get one by Thursday. But of course, there's no reason why you couldn't buy one and replay the video. Of course, I'm a bit stupid today. Sorry, guys. So you could play with the colours on Thursday and have a practice. And then but they are about £8. But having said that, if you're going to buy a book on colour, you're going to buy a book for a bit more. So it should be quite nice. It was spoilt because of the kerfuffle we had with them, but we can't have everything, I suppose. So I would think it may take those tubes to do all these colours. And we're using the 3 colours. So it tells you to do like I say to do. So they put the yellow on top. And I don't normally do that. So I'm going to do that for a reason. And I hadn't realised this. Because everybody puts red on the top. So we've got yellow there. And we've got, we'll do it. We'll just do a demo, but not make the colours. So we've got lemon yellow there. We've got, I'm just making sure the tops are on because it could be disastrous. We've got red. So primary yellow, primary red, and primary blue are going to be okay. So we mixed the 2 yellows to make a green. We mixed the red and the yellow to make an orange. And then we mixed the red and the blue to make a purple. And that actually shouldn't be a bad purple. I'd prefer a lighter blue, but we're not going to go through that. It should work. So then we have the violet. So what we do is we take the purple or violet and we take the red and we mix these 2 together and we get a red violet. And then we take the the violet and the blue, and we get a blue violet. Now, if you wanted to make a blue violet, all you would do is you would take red, primary red and primary blue, or French ultramarine and alizarin crimson. And if you wanted a violet, you'd do 50-50. And if you wanted it more red, you'd put more red in it to make a red violet. And the more blue one, you'd put more blue in it to make it a blue violet. The reason these two are swapped is the fact that this has got more red, this has got more blue, but they're both made with the same. Did that make sense? So now you take lemon yellow, and I would do a cerulean blue, but they've got primary blue to make a bright green. And again, you do bright green and yellow to make a yellow green, bright green and blue to make a blue green. Then we take primary yellow or cadmium yellow, and I would take cadmium red or primary red to make an orange. And then again, we take the orange and add some yellow to it to make a yellow orange. We take red back to it with the orange to make a red orange. And then what we're going to do, and I hope I've got these in the right order. I did try to keep them. That's number 4. That's the back. That's number 1. So we'll walk through this without actually doing it. So the first thing it tells you to do, oh, and I haven't got my black. I haven't got my black. I'll put it away. You want to put red where red is, yellow where yellow is, and blue where blue is, and black. And zinc white. You have to get another white. And you colour those in. And you put them there. And then you colour this one in. On the outside, you leave the first one. Don't touch that second one. So row 3. So you paint the secondary colours, which it talks about. So I'll read the instructions. Wheels. I'll turn that one under that. Oh, thank you, Kingo. Thank you, Dan. It was just a piece of a long material instead of looking those things down. Right. So what did we say we had? Right. So row 1, 2 and 3. Choose red that does not lean towards violet or orange. So that means you want one in the middle. So cadmium red, cadmium red's there. And alizarin crimson is there, cadmium red is there, and primer is in the middle. So if you don't have primary, put a little bit of alizarin crimson and cadmium red together and you make a primary red. A yellow that doesn't lead towards green or cadmium yellow it leans towards the orange. So we don't cadmium yellow. So if you didn't have a primary yellow, you could a lemon yellow would be fine. But if you wanted to tinge it down a little bit, put a little bit of cadmium yellow and lemon yellow together. But I would use lemon yellow for this. Lemon yellow would be perfect to get a good orange and perfect for a good green. But they're using primary. And the blue, you don't want to lose between violet and green. So you don't want a turquoise blue. You don't want a French ultramarine. Again, if you have cerulean blue and French ultramarine, mix the two together and you'll end up with a primary blue, basically. So the secondary colours, again, you mix these two together to make green, these two together to make orange, and these two together to make violet. And it says, you mix blue and red until you have a balanced violet that visually appears to be halfway between blue and red. And that goes between the orange as well. You mix yellow and red together until you get something that looks like an orange color. It's not a red orange, it's not a yellow orange, it's in the middle. And the same with the green. You mix the blue and the yellow until you get a green. It's neither a blue green or a yellow green, it's in the middle. Because you need these to be true for your tertiary colors. You need them to be correct. Then it says, paint the tertiary colors. A red-orange. Mix red and orange together until you have a balanced red-orange that visually appears to be halfway between the red and the orange. Continue by mixing one primary with one secondary color, visually judging the colors until you have a color that appears to be halfway between the two. When the color wheel is finished, the colors will appear to be in graduated steps around the color wheel. So we'll have yellow, oh, it's telling you how to mix them. So a yellow orange is yellow and orange. A yellow green is green and yellow. A blue green is green, sorry, it's green and blue. A blue violet is blue and violet. A red violet is red and violet. And the last one is the orange when I did the orange one. And that gives you your tertiary colours. So then it says on wheel 2 only to mix the colours from 3 to 7. Use equal parts of each colour. So you want row 3, add red to each colour in row 1. So in row 3, so everything around row 3 has got red added to each colour. So red to red, so it's not going to change. We're going to add red to red violet, which is going to make that slightly redder. We're going to add red to violet to make it redder. We're going to add blue violet to red, which is going to take it towards violet. We're going to add blue to red. And then you do the same with the yellow. So row 4 is all yellows added to all the colours. Row 5 is blue. So we add blue on the row 5 here. They're all going to be blue tint. So there should be a red tint, a yellow tint, a blue tint, a white tint, and a black tint. And then we're going to turn that one to color through color wheel 3 to the grey scale here. And on here it tells you what to do. So paint the colours as described on wheel 2 in space below each colour name on the outer row. So that means you paint yellow with 5 parts white. We paint yellow with five parts grey, 1 part grey, beg your pardon, 1 part colour, 1 grey. This one is 1 part yellow, 1 part white, and this one is 1 part yellow and 1 part grey. This one is 3 parts colour, 1 part black, and this one is 1 part colour, 2 parts black. So these are all going to be grey tones and shades, and that's a tint because it's white. So we're going to have tints, tones, and shades of yellow. And then we do the same with everyone. So it's going to get a bit complicated after there because we're doing the tints and the tones. But I'll go through the whole way. We'll work through the whole thing. So even if you just had a bit of sketchbook paper, the watercolor paper, or a good quality sketchbook paper, we can go through. You can work with me through it. And then if you feel that you want to get a color wheel, there is the video there to watch again and do it again. Probably take you a couple of times. Nobody ever gets it the first time. My daughter got it the 3rd time with me, and her teacher was so bad that nobody else got it in the whole class. And I didn't offer to go in, but I mean, I did get in both of mine. I got distinctions for colour. But we did have a very good colour teacher who, bless her, is no longer on the planet. So we had a really good colour teacher. And for 2 years, we did nothing but 2 full days of colour. So you were bound to get fairly good with your colours. So that's Thursdays. What else can we do with that? That's going to take quite a while, I think. I think I might want to just play with that owl if I can find it. I forgot what I've got in here now. Oh, I've got some more gouache in here. Oh yeah, these are the ones. These are the. Again, these are my colours that I would use. So that would be my other purple. That would be my other yellow. And cerulean blue. Permanent yellow deep. And then I've got pinky red, flame red. Oh, excuse me. Beg your pardon. Sorry about that. We've just got poorly pigs. Right. Because that was a bit of a mishmash and a bit of a have to put that in there, do I? Because that was a bit of a haul. I think I'll stop. I think I'm going to stop this video, guys. Sorry about that. I just got a poorly dog. I think I might just leave that particular video. Art supplies from Manchester, from Cass Art and Fred Olsen. So thank you for watching.